Hi, it's Steph here from the bead shop in Nottingham. We've had a lot of people in the shop recently asking us the best way to make a simple beaded necklace. So I thought I'd quickly show you how to do that. So I'm using 7-strand Beadalon Bright, which is a flexible beading wire, which is great for basic jewellery. I'm just using size 8 seed beads. I've got a small sunflower charm and some nice spacer beads for a central feature. I've cut a length of wire approximately 45 centimetres long, and I'm going to use a bead stopper on one end of the wire to stop my beads from dropping off. And then I'm going to tip out all my beads. And then I'm going to start threading these on and trying to keep them quite random. So this is a mix of size 8 blue beads, so they're all a little bit different. So all I'm going to do to try and keep them random is to pick up different beads and just try and make sure that there doesn't end up being too many that are the same all next to one another. So it's not going to be truly random, but as random as I can keep it. Now I'm just going to keep threading now until I've got what I think looks like around about 20 centimetres, and then I'll pause at that point. Right, so I've got approximately what looks like 20 centimetres ish to me, so I'm just going to measure that, and it is 18 centimetres, which is fine because what I'm going to do is add in a spacer bead. So I'm going to thread on one of our polygon spacer beads, and then I'm going to add 5 more beads. And then I'm going to thread on one of our little star spacer beads. And then right in the centre is going to be the sunflower. So I'm going to thread on 3 beads here, and then on the other side of the sunflower I'll mirror the just central beads. So I'm going light blue, dark blue and pale blue. Slide that along, and now so that the charm sits really nice and neatly in the center here, I'm actually going to add a jump ring onto this charm so that it will hang the right way round. Just close that up. There we go. That will just make it easier. So slide that on, and it will then hang the right direction too. So now I'm going to pop those same 3 beads on here. So I've got pale blue, dark blue and light blue. There we go. And now I'm going to mirror the star as well. So slide the star on, 5 more beads, another polygon bead, and then I'm going to continue threading all the beads on until I've got the same amount that matches this side. So I've completed the beading on this side, and I've measured from the spacer bead to the end of the beading, and that now matches up with the first side of the necklace. So I'm just going to finish this end with a necklace end. So let's move those beads out of the way. So in order to attach the necklace end, you slide that on through the open mouth so that your wire's coming out there, and then you pick up a crimp bead and get hold of it in your chain nose pliers and then you're going to squash the crimp bead right at the end of the wire, so give that a really firm squash. If you end up with a bit of wire sticking out, you can always trim it off, but check that it's totally gripped, which mine has. And now we're going to close up the necklace end over the crimp, which creates a really nice neat finish to the end of your necklace. So in order to do that, I use chain nose pliers, and I grip just 1/2 of the necklace end in the jaws of the pliers. You can see that there. And I'm not squashing it, I'm just simply holding it. And now I'm going to brace my thumb against the other half of the necklace end and start folding that upwards, just to get that fold started. And now the two halves are closer together and lining up nice and straight, so that now when I squeeze those two halves together, they should line up nice and straight. Again, don't over squeeze, you're just getting them together, and that creates a nice ball shape at the end of our necklace. For now, I'm just going to turn over, close that loop up by pulling and pushing that into the middle there, and that creates a loop. Now, nothing's going to fall off because we've now got a finish end this side, and the bead stopper was stopping anything dropping off the other side. So with having a bead stopper on there, if you decided that you wanted to make your necklace shorter, if you sort of tried it on, decided you needed to change anything, you can do, because these just simply squeeze and come off the wire. But I'm happy with that length, so now I can do everything in reverse. So I'm going to do the same thing on this end, but we've got a little bit more wire to work with. So I'm sliding on the necklace end first, and there's a bit of a trick to this because it's quite hard to get your pliers in there and squash the crimp. So I'm going to thread the crimp on first, and then lay everything down flat and make sure there's no gaps in the wire in my necklace. So there's no gaps there. The necklace end's all nice and close to the beads there. And then I'm going to get hold of the crimp bead, and then I'm not gripping it yet, squashing it yet, I'm just holding it. And then I'm going to slide down towards the necklace end and the beads, and then once I'm happy that I'm inside there, I'm going to squash that. By sliding it down and then squashing it, you know you've got a good angle on there, and then you can get really close. So doubly make sure you're happy that's squashed tight. Always give it a little pull to make sure that it's definitely gripped, which it has. And now we can trim off that excess. I have an old pair of cutters that I use for cutting this wire so that I don't damage my new pair. And now we're going to close that up again. So grip 1/2 of your necklace end, start the folding with your thumb, and then finish by gently squeezing the two halves together. It just ends up meeting nice and neatly. Sort of the equivalent of scoring a piece of card before folding it up. Just ends up neater each time. Then close that over, and now we just need to add our clasp. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to add my clasp to the right side for when I'm wearing it. So the charm is facing forward, so I'm actually going to attach it as I'm looking at it on the left side, and that will end up on the right side. So now I'm just going to open the jump ring. These are 5mm ones, so they're not too tough, so I'm just gently twisting that open in my fingers. You can do it with a second pair of flat or chain nose pliers. Then necklace in there, then the loop of your clasp, and then close that up. Just make sure you don't end up with any gaps between the two ends of the jump ring. And then on this side, to make it easier to catch the trigger clasp in there, I'm just adding a simple jump ring on the other side. And there we have a complete necklace. Simple but effective. Obviously, done in different colours, you'd get very different effects, but I quite like that. It's simple and it's quite striking. Obviously, you can put any charm you like on your necklace too. But there we go. Not as difficult as it seems.